Good morning. Chapter 6, Lesson 2 is on page 268 and page 269. We're going to be doing the difference of two squares, and from Chapter 5, we're going to look over here on the right-hand side. We had this shortcut for a plus b times the quantity of a minus, a minus b. And we came up with that shortcut where all it was a squared minus b squared. And we discovered that when we FOILed everything. We FOILed the a's. And the AB and the BA and the B squared, we ended up with A squared minus B squared. Well, if you look at it backwards, we end up with A squared minus B squared as A plus B times the quantity of A minus B. And that in algebra is called the difference of two squares. Here's the difference, the minus sign, and A squared can be square rooted into the A, and B squared has B times B as its factors. So the difference of two squares has to have a minus sign in between the two squares. So the first step we have to do is figure out, is 64y to the fourth, is that squareable? And the answer is, I think so, because 8y to the second times 8y to the second gives me 64y to the fourth. The second one is 81 squareable, and it sure is because it's 9 times 9, because 9 times 9 gives me 81. And the last thing we have to do is there a minus sign in between the two? So there certainly turns out to be a minus sign between the two. So this is a difference of two squares. So the factors for 64y to the fourth minus 81 kind of break out into really simple things. 8y squared minus 9 times 8y squared plus 9. And we're using our formula right over here, the difference of two squares. So we took care of number 25. Factoring using the difference of two squares formula. Let's try number 57, a to the 12th minus 4a squared. One of the things to keep in mind when you're doing this is sometimes it's easier to factor something out in the very beginning. So if we do that, we can take out an a squared, which will leave us with a to the 10th minus 4. Just before we start using the difference of two squares, sometimes we can see maybe we can factor something out that's common, and yes, indeed, we can take out an a squared. A squared times a to the 10th gives me that a to the 12th. So let's ignore the a squared for just a second. A to the 10th, I wonder if that's a difference of two squares. Yeah, it looks like a to the 5th times a to the 5th. And 4, obviously, becomes 2 times 2. And we have that minus sign in between. So it looks like the factors for this turn out to be, don't forget the a squared. And we're going to do a to the 5th minus 2 times a to the 5th plus 2. We're using our formula, the difference of two squares. A to the 5th, 2. One goes minus, and one goes plus. One goes plus, and one goes minus. Difference of two squares. That's it for today. We'll see you all tomorrow.